Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. It's Kyle Henderson. Feeling good, feeling rested. Alabama continues to roll. Dominated the Hogs 65-31. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Got some nice intro music for you. Got a good show lined up for you tonight, and in a while we'll take your calls at 205-686-3604. It's Kyle Henderson coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Where it's always summertime. There's no winter anymore. It's just summertime. Here's what we got on the show tonight. Open it up with Nick Saban's press conference. Get his comments from following the Arkansas game. I'm going to provide some mind-blowing stats. Stats that'll blow your mind. This Alabama team, what they're doing is it's incredible. I mean, what they're doing on paper, those are facts. Tua Heisman chasing the Heisman Trophy. Offensive stats versus Arkansas. We'll rewind. We'll look at the defensive stats as well. Provide the offensive grades from Pro Football Focus and the defensive grades from Pro Football Focus. And you won't believe some of these grades against Arkansas for the defense. More on that to come. Be prepared. We'll take your calls in just a little while, okay? 205-686-3604. And if you don't get in on the call, just keep calling back. I'll get to you at some point. I'll also provide Tua's passing rating throughout, the first 6 weeks. It's only getting better. And also look at Tua's passing chart. And I'll take your calls tonight on the BamaInsider.com live stream. How's everybody doing tonight? Where are you coming from? If you could put, I would really appreciate this. If you could put where you're watching from in the comment box, that would fire me up. I really like that. That'd be nice to see. Okay, well, let's get while everybody checks in, let's get Saban's press conference. We'll cue the music, and we'll get moving forward. All right, here we go. Here's Nick Saban following Arkansas.
I thought we did an outstanding job out there today on offense. Made a lot of explosive plays, made a lot of big plays, controlled the line of scrimmage pretty well. Scored 65 points, you can't complain much. It was great that the defense scored a touchdown on an interception return. But at the same time, I think there's a lot of things and a lot of areas of our team that we certainly need to improve. Made a lot of mistakes on defense today. Didn't play very well together as a unit. Had lots of opportunities to get off the field on third down and just didn't do it, which allowed them to extend drives. And, I don't think that we really beat the other team when you give up 31 points like we did today, at least from a defensive perspective. And I think that's something we definitely need to improve on in the future. We're going to play a lot better offensive teams. We're going to play a lot better offensive team this week, one of the best offensive teams in the country in Missouri. So, we just need a lot of guys to have a little more focus, a little more discipline, a little more confidence in believing that if they do their job the way that we want them to do it, they're going to have the best chance to be successful. You got to give Arkansas a lot of credit for the way their players kept fighting in the game, and they kept playing really well on offense, and I think they're a much better team now on offense. The quarterback is doing a nice job for them, and we didn't do a great job in coverage today, and we're going to have to improve in that area as well.
You said at halftime that the players looked confused on defense. How do you clean that up and help them play better on that side of the ball?
Well, I think I just addressed that. I mean, I'm responsible for that. We need to coach them better. We need to prepare them better. They need to be able to make adjustments in the game better. When we see different things in the game, they got to be able to play them on principle, and they have to have confidence that they can go do that. And I just felt like, we didn't do a good job of that. That's my fault. That's my responsibility. That's us as coaches. We got to do a better job of teaching these guys so they're better prepared when the game comes and they can make those adjustments that they need to make.
Aside from the 4th and 1 play where you guys got stuffed, how did you think the offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage in this game?
I said earlier, I thought we did a really good job of controlling the line of scrimmage in this game. We made a lot of explosive plays. We didn't have a lot of pressure on the quarterback, so I thought they did a really good job.
The running game, second quarter, one series and 2 or 3 later, especially the last one, looked like you really got going downhill. Was that part of what you wanted to get to see by this point?
Well, I think that, we want to have balance on offense. I think that these guys played a lot of, sort of pressure run defense, as I want to call them, which is probably what helped us make some explosive plays in the beginning of the game, especially on RPOs, especially to the tight end. But as the game wore on, I thought that, our offensive line got control of the line of scrimmage. I thought our backs did a really good job of running hard in the game. Damian had over 100 yards. So Najee played well. Josh played well. So I was really pleased with the way we controlled the line of scrimmage.
Coach, offensively, how
All right, that was Nick Saban. If you want to watch the full press conference, just look on our YouTube channel. Good work from Tony Stukalis, our team writer. He got that video for us. I was home this weekend, watched it with you guys on TV. Tony, we sent him to Fayetteville for the game. And Alabama, I don't know if you guys saw, but they are a 29.5 favorite over Missouri this weekend. That's going to be their homecoming game. Game is at 6 o'clock on ESPN. Looking forward to a student section turnout, right? After Saban got on, the students, I think they're going to turn out this Saturday. Thanks for joining us. Kyle Henderson, BamaInsider.com. Up on the top ticker, I provided a lot of stats that are going to rotate throughout the show, so hopefully that can provide some good context around this Alabama football team, and it kind of leads into our next subject. And I want to talk about some stats for this year's team. I mean, these are some mind-blowing stats that really jump out to me when I look at this Alabama football team, and you can find all this coverage on BamaInsider.com. I'll just go ahead and read them off and start at the top with the unbelievable. Alabama has had they had 639 yards of offense against Arkansas. 639 is actually the second time that Alabama has had over 600 yards of offense this season. Alabama has scored 45 or more points in 6 consecutive games for the first time in school history. Never been done before. This offense is that explosive. 15 of the Crimson Tide scoring drives this season have lasted less than 1 minute. Can you believe that? That's mind-blowing in itself. Tua Heisman on the season, 18 for 21 over the last 2 games for 462 yards with 6 touchdowns. He's directed 44 drives, and 31 have resulted in touchdowns. It's pretty incredible. His passing rating this past week was 394.3, and I have an interesting stat chart that I'm going to pull up here in just a little bit to highlight Tua Tagovailoa's passing rating through the first 6 weeks of the season. As mentioned, he's thrown 18 touchdowns on the season with 0 interceptions. Alabama has scored over 60 points this season twice, and they enter Week 7 against Missouri, scoring 56 points per game, number 1 in the country. Alabama wide receiver Jerry Jeudy has a per-catch average of 24.3 yards and has caught 8 touchdowns this season. Jerry Jeudy has scored 48 points solo this season. He's caught a touchdown pass from Jalen Hurts. But the leading scorer on this team is actually Joseph Bolivas, okay? If you want to catch all this information, I usually post these stat bombs on Sunday on BamaInsider.com. Also good, Alabama has scored 73 points off turnovers this season. Alabama has 19 total sacks and has given just 4 sacks to the opposition. Alabama's red zone scoring average is 82%. This is the bad news. Alabama has missed, check this out, 4 PATs this season. 4. Ole Miss is the only other team in the SEC to miss a PAT, and they've missed just 1. Alabama has missed 4. Joseph Bolivas missed 1 this last game. It's that's unacceptable for the number 1 team in the country, right? I mean, the field goal kickers and the place kickers have to improve going forward, or it's going to cost this team down the road. I mean, special teams is a pivotal part of any team, especially when you're trying to win national championships. Thanks for joining us on the program. We'll open the line up in just a minute. Call-in line is 205-686-3604. I have a lot to share with you. Here are the offensive stats for Alabama versus Arkansas. I'll bring those up right now. As you can see, Tua Tagovailoa, 10 of 13. Only 13 passes. 334 yards with 4 touchdowns, rating at 394.3. Damian Harris. I'm glad Alabama unleashed him this past week. 15 carries, 111 yards. Alabama has had just a 100-yard rusher twice this year. Remember, Najee Harris did it back in week 2. Najee, 7 carries, 63 yards. Josh Jacobs got in the end zone. Receiving-wise, Jerry Jeudy hauled in 2 more touchdown passes, targeted 4 times, 4 receptions for 135 yards. How about that slant that Jerry Jeudy caught? He's deceptively fast. Jerry Jeudy's already ready for the NFL. It's incredible that he's only a sophomore. Jalen Waddle also had 4 receptions for 49 yards. But how about Irv Smith? 2 receptions, 123 yards. And then he had that long reception was 76 yards. Then he fumbles. And then Henry Ruggs. Go back and watch that play when Henry Ruggs scoops that fumble and then he scores. Henry Ruggs must have been running, I'm not kidding you, like a 4.1, 4.2 40. It's incredible the acceleration that he has. And he actually was credited with that touchdown. I mean, obviously he scored, but it was kind of a weird scoring play for the Crimson Tide. I have Irv Smith, as I mentioned many times, on my fantasy football team. So it's pretty cool to see Alabama use their tight end. These are the defensive stats, and behind I have a bunch of cool graphics that I'll share with you, and we'll get to these quick, and then I'll take your calls at 205-686-3604. Defensive stats, Dylan Moses led the team in tackles with 10 total tackles. Been having a good season, and he continues to improve weekly. Right? I think Alabama certainly needs to improve, especially in that inside linebacker position. And as I alluded to earlier in the show, Mack Wilson has been having a very tough time this year, and you're going to see his grade, and it's not going to make you happy here in a few minutes. Deontay Thompson had 9 tackles. Trayvon Diggs, who was picked on all game long, 7 solo tackles. That was pretty much just him chasing down receivers or tight ends. Xavier McKinney had another good game, 6 tackles. Shaheem Carter returned his 2nd interception for a touchdown. Those are the defensive stats. And now we're going to look at these are the offensive grades. Let me actually get myself out of this so you guys can see the grades. All right, so this is what we're looking at. We're looking at the offensive grades from Pro Football Focus, and the star to the right of the player indicates if the player is a starter, and on the far right indicates their overall grade. So the higher the grade, the better the player performs, okay? Alex Leatherwood, 62% grade out, not very good. Jedrick Wills, 66.5, not very good. I mean, those are guys on the right side. And to be honest, neither one of them have really graded out. I don't think either one has hit an 80% in a game. They're sophomores, but it seems like now towards midseason we would be seeing more higher marks from these two on the outside. I don't know the exact time frame on Matt Womack coming back to the rotation, but maybe Matt Womack might get some playing time moving forward to see if he can kind of spur the right side of the offensive line. Take your call in just a minute to 205-686-3604. Hold the phone calls. I'll get with you guys in just a few minutes. Ross Pierce-Parker didn't grade out well either, 62.9. I mean, the offensive line, I mean, if you look, the marks aren't very high for this team. Even Lester Cotton with the 59.3. Jerry Jeudy, 87.1, very high grade out for a wide receiver. Jonah Williams, I think, he continues to shine for Alabama on the offensive line, 77.5. Tua, 87.0. Hal Hentage, 55.1 in 35 total snaps. Irv Smith, 77.2. He grades out high every single game. Damian Harris, 74.8. And Jalen Waddle's been graded out very high, 82 flat. And Jalen Hurts, you see him at 70. Josh Jacobs, 63.5. And Henry Ruggs down at the very bottom of the screen, 75.0. I post all the grades on BamaInsider.com, and you can take a full detailed look on our website. Let's see. These are the defensive stats. Let me find the defensive grades for you guys real quick. Give me 1 second. Sometimes it's kind of hard to navigate through the all right. Let's see. All right, the defensive grade should be showing for you right now. Patrick Surtain didn't have his best game, 65.9, but, I mean, he continues to see a ton of snaps. Total snap count was 68 for Patrick Surtain, which is impressive considering he's a true freshman. Xavier McKinney graded out 75.8. Trayvon Diggs, 65.1. Deontay Thompson, probably, I think his lowest graded game of this year, 66.0. Dylan Moses, this was certainly his best game grading-wise, 77.7. Mac Wilson, check that out. Lowest grade of the entire defense as a starter, 50% for Mac Wilson, 61 snaps. It's not good. Not good for a player with the talent level as high as Mac Wilson, at least what we thought coming in. Raekwon Davis, 68.7. I want Raekwon Davis. I mean, there was a couple plays I saw him. He seemed to be walking out there a couple times. I'm not kidding. I'm not hating on these players. I would never do that. But being honest with you, I mean, there was a couple times that he was walking on the field. I don't know if he was tired, if he's sick. I don't know what was going on. He was walking. Maybe it's time for LeBron Ray to see a little bit more playing time. Quinnen Williams, 84 flat, highest graded player on the defense. Followed by actually LeBron Ray. Look down there at the bottom, 79.4. Might be time to see a little bit more LeBron Ray for this Alabama defense. I think he's a star in the making, and kind of curious on what's going on with Raekwon Davis. Check this out. I put together this graph. I'm a graphs, numbers type guy. This is Tua's passing rating by week. It's phenomenal. 235 week 1. 238. You look at those ratings now and you're like, they're not that good. Those are unbelievable to start the year. 224, 225 during weeks 3 and 4. And then look at these past 2 weeks. 316. You're like, oh my goodness, could it get better? Yes. 394. It's like his passing rating is through the roof. And he only threw 13 passes. Clearly the Heisman Trophy favorite. I think when you look at the Heisman talk, you have Tua, you have Kyler Murray of Oklahoma. And then I don't know if you guys have seen, I don't know how much you follow college football outside of the SEC, but write this name down. Laviska Shenault out of Colorado is having an incredible season for the Buffs. Buffs 5-0 for the first time, I believe, in 20 years. Take on USC this week. So Laviska Shenault, Tua, and Kyler Murray, certainly guys contending for the Heisman, at least during the midseason. You can check this chart out more on BamaInsider.com. Here's Tua's passing chart. This is his directional chart. It's only getting better, everyone. It's incredible. Outside left, 20-plus yards, 97%. That's unreal. 4 of 6. 110 yards, 3 touchdowns. Across the middle, 20 yards, 96.7, 5 of 6, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns. Outside right, 89 flat. Looks like he's slacking almost. 3 of 6, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. Look at across the middle of the field at 10-plus yards. And that's a lot when you see Alabama running those RPOs where Tua's going to fake a handoff. He's really reading the defense, and then he's going to hit, for example, Jerry Jeudy across the middle of the field, and those have gone for really big gains. As you can see, he's 13 of 17 for 333 yards. So the meat of his passing yards is actually the middle of the field, 10-plus yards, 13 of 17 passing for 332 yards. And 4 touchdowns. Pretty incredible what Tua's doing. It's been so much fun to watch. And to think he's only a sophomore, I can't even wait to see what he does in the next couple weeks. And also as a junior. You imagine Alabama's going to get Tua and Talia, if Talia does sign next year. So you have 2 Togo Vailoas on the same squad coming up. You guys are spoiled. Thanks for joining us on the show. Kyle Henderson coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. 205-686-3604 is the call-in number. I'm actually going to open up the line right now when I take your calls and talk about this squad. Talk Alabama football and get your thoughts on this team. And I posted some interesting numbers up at the top ticker. And you can check those out, and you can also got our first call. Here we go. All right. Good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Hunter from Hartford, Alabama.
All right, yeah. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. You're on the show. Go ahead, shoot.
Yeah. So this week, I was kind of pressured a little bit on defense. I don't know if it was some of the confusion that the guys were, the looks that Arkansas was given, but I thought that we did a very poor job. I mean, we still did good, but it's still not what we are used to with the Alabama defense.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I'm glad you brought this up because this is likely what the show is going to be based around was the defense. I pose this question to you and the rest of our viewers out there: is the defense having trouble because they're being on the field so much? Because Alabama's offense is literally scoring, as I mentioned, in under 2 minutes, which means the defense is having to stay on the football field much longer than they're accustomed to. Did they look tired? Did they look lethargic? Yeah, I think they did against Arkansas, but there was a couple plays where they just, I don't know, it just seemed like they look lost. I don't know. I'd like to see a lot of improvement, and if I'm Nick Saban, I'm visiting with Tosh, and I'm making sure things are tightened up. What did you by chance notice what I noticed about Raekwon Davis walking a couple times during the game against Arkansas?
Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah.
I thought about that during the game, and I think you hit on something just there. I haven't thought about that until you've just brought that up, but I think that could be a major component of why this defense is not, performing at the level we need to be. I do think that we do need to play LeBron Ray a lot more.
Yeah.
LeBron Ray has done very good every time he's been in the game this year. Remember against Louisville in the second half when they put LeBron Ray in? He dominated, completely dominated. And then we didn't see him again until this week. Against that Arkansas offensive line, and so I don't know what's going on. I think Tosh is a good coach. I mean, by anybody you talk to who's knows about Tosh will tell you he's a good coach. I just don't know if what you're saying is probably the case. But we did look a little sluggish, and Mac Wilson didn't do as good as he usually does. I don't know what was going on with him either.
Yeah, the inside linebacker play for Alabama hasn't been the best, and Mac Wilson, it hasn't been it's been the case every single week that he hasn't graded out very high, and that's surprising because at the beginning of the season, Nick Saban had nothing but positives to say about Mac Wilson. Now that doesn't mean that we're just going to completely write him off, but like to see some improvements from Mac Wilson because I think we can all see that the inside linebacker play needs improvement going forward, especially when you're going to take on a team like Missouri, and Missouri has a much better quarterback than Arkansas does. Drew Lock is going to be a guy that we see on Sundays, and he has a lot of talented weapons around. But with that said, I don't think Missouri has a defense that can hang with Alabama. So I appreciate the call, and please call in next time.
Yeah, one more thing.
Yeah.
One more thing. You're right. They're not going to be able to hang over Tua and the rest of that offense. But as far as recruiting goes, after this year, we will have a more depth of a team on defense. You look at some of the guys we're bringing in that are freshmen, who by all accounts are going to be very good players, and so I think after this year we'll see that depth start to evolve again to where we were 2 years ago. I think since I've been alive, I think the best defense I've seen was that 2012 defense. I see you give us about another year or two, we'll be back to that 2012 style defense where we're just lights out. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking.
All right, well, thank you so much for the call. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right, line is open for you guys to call in, 205-686-3604. I think the defense giving up 31 points. Actually, it was the most points that Alabama has allowed since 2017 when Clemson scored 35 on Alabama to defeat the Crimson Tide in the national championship game, if you can believe that. It just doesn't happen. Teams do not score against Alabama's defense. And I posed this question. Got another call in.
that Alabama has allowed.
All right. Good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. Can you please turn your speakers down on your computer so there's no echo, please?
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling in. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
Robert from Mobile.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling in tonight, Robert. It's good to hear from you. You're on the line. Go ahead, shoot.
Well, I think Nick Saban calling out the defense yesterday. I think Missouri is picking a bad time to come to Tuscaloosa. The offense the defense has been carrying their offense versus since Nick Saban's got there, probably really since the existence of Alabama football almost. So the offense carrying the defense a bit is it's about time. It's just something we're not used to accustomed to seeing in Tuscaloosa. With the defense giving up 31 points and at a garden at one point, if it was during crunch time, it could Arkansas could have been only down by 7.
Yeah.
And what's disturbing is they give 31 points to Arkansas versus it's just an average, mediocre to average offense. But they shut down Ole Miss, which is a really good offense. Now comes in Missouri. The defense has a lot to prove right now, and they're going to have an entire week of you're not that good, you're not that good. So I expect them to come out really strong against Missouri this weekend, especially with Nick Saban. But they're essentially calling it out.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. I think Nick Saban's going to be like, look, you guys aren't that good, just like he was asking for the media to point out. And everyone can now point to, look, hey, you guys allowed 31 points, which is unacceptable. Let me pose this question to you. And I brought this up before the show on the YouTube chat. Is Alabama – I'm scared to ask this, but I have to ask this. Is Alabama now a Big 12 style team with an offense that can score 60, but with a defense that's going to allow 20 to 30 points? And I'm not saying Alabama's defense is bad in that aspect. I'm just saying Alabama scores so fast that the defense is going to be out on the field. I mean, they were out on the field almost 35 minutes against Arkansas. So
yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get tired. I mean, and as Nick Saban has said, the depth of the twos isn't that good right now, and it might not be good for the rest of the season. I don't know. So the defense certainly, I know 1920. Don't say I'm reading the comments, the Big 12 style, but have to ask it. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't think it will be as bad as Big 12. I mean, Big 12 defenses will be in the bottom 50%. In the bottom 50% of college football.
Yeah.
Oklahoma was almost about to carry the worst defense in the history of college football to the national championship.
Yeah.
Till Georgia stopped them. I just wouldn't believe a defense ranked 75 could get to the national championship. Oklahoma almost did it. But it won't be that bad. And bad for Alabama is we're used to our defense being 1 or 2.
Yes.
And now we're going to have to be celebrate our defense being 10, 11, in the bottom 20%, the bottom 10%. I mean, the bottom 10%, but the second tier 10%, between 10 and 20. I don't really even see it getting much below 10. The number 10 defense. But right now we're number 11, which again for Alabama is what we're accustomed to. It's just shocking. But the offense is just so much better. I mean, the offense was right now 20 points better than last year.
Yeah.
Okay, with that defense and that offense and the top 10 defense, you're still lights out, which is where Alabama is now. I just don't like to see the Arkansas of the world score 31 points.
Yeah,
hopefully we'll fix that.
It was funny. I went to the Arkansas rival site after the game, and they like talk about moral victories. They were like, "Yeah, we scored 31 on Alabama. We're coming back. This is our year." And it's funny to see different perspectives because Alabama fans are mad that they allowed 31 points, but they scored 65, and Arkansas is just happy scoring over 30 on Alabama. But I appreciate the call from Mobile, Alabama, and I'll catch up with you next time. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, line is open. I want to get your thoughts on this squad. 205-686-3604 is the number to call in. Kyle Henderson coming to you from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Alabama will take on Missouri and Drew Lock, one of the most talented quarterbacks in the SEC, although he hasn't been playing that dynamic. I have him on my fantasy football team as well. They will take on Alabama at 6 o'clock at Bryant-Denny Stadium in front of a packed house. Will the administration free Dixieland Delight? I know all the students out there want to see Dixieland Delight played. I would honestly like to see Dixieland Delight played at a home game. I've never seen it before. It looks electric from what I've seen on YouTube and everything like that. Line is open to call 205-686-3604. I'll continue to read off more interesting stat bombs for Alabama, a team that is ranked number 1 in both the AP and coaches poll and has been for, it seems like, forever. Let's see. Let me bring those stats up while I wait for you guys to call. Let's see. Someone's saying, is this for real? Oh, okay. Oklahoma has fired their defensive coordinator? Huh, interesting. I'm going to have to read more on that. That's just coming in. I just saw that on Bama Insider, and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. You guys watch that game between got another call. Oklahoma and Texas. True freshman hitting that game-winning field goal. All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson at BamaInsider.com. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
And this is Lil Joe. I'm calling from Camden. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, Lil Joe?
Everything all right. I got a couple of topics I want to discuss with you. I've been a Bama fan for a long time, and the first one I want to discuss with you about is with the defense, of course, giving up the 31 points. I'm kind of upset with that. But you hit on it a little bit with Raekwon Davis. The first thing I feel is, though, that some of the defensive players out of place, like Anthony Jennings. He's too big to be playing well on outside linebacker. I feel as though he should move him inside and move Moses on the outside to get better leverage, and he'd be quicker getting to the quarterback to put more pressure on the quarterback. Okay, in the middle of the defense where it seems like they're getting most of their teams are getting most of their yards in the middle of the defense and running straight up the middle. Something is, like you said, Raekwon Davis, you need more of a defensive presence there. Like, I don't know, he don't belong in that spot. Like I said, it's different players are in the wrong position. Like, especially, this is one of my key points, Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs needs to be on offense. He is not a cornerback at all. You can look how he tackles. He is not a cornerback. If you ever played football and know somebody who played football, look at Diggs, how he tackled and how he moved. He get burnt too much. This past Saturday, he got killed. I mean, they killed him a couple other weekends ago. I forgot what game it was, but, they was kind of picking at him a little bit, and he'd been exposed. But with me being on the phone, I didn't write up. I should have wrote my topics down, but I had something else I wanted to talk about. This was a major thing I see. As far as like when players when they're running the ball, like I saw one where the player grabbed it, a face mask. They need to eliminate that out of football, where the offensive player just can reach up and grab the player face mask. That's not something that need to be in football, because it can get a player hurt, whether it's on the offense or defense. See, it's not equal. You shouldn't be able to do that. But I appreciate you taking my call, Kyle. I just can't remember exactly all I had to say, because I had several different topics. But I'm going to go and get out the other caller's way.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate the calling. Line is open, 205-686-3604. Getting back to our last caller, it's not a terrible idea. I mean, Anthony Jennings, in my opinion, working with the outside linebackers, I mean, he's 267 pounds. And there's been a couple times where Anthony Jennings in open space just doesn't work that well. And our last caller brings up a really great idea. With the athleticism that Dylan Moses has, having him an outside linebacker, that could be nice. I mean, you guys have seen him chase down receivers, running backs all season long. That might be interesting to play with Dylan Moses on the outside. In terms of Raekwon Davis not being effective, he's had good games. Just this last game, I don't know. I don't know the full scoop on him. I don't know. He looked tired, lethargic. I've never seen Raekwon Davis play like that. You have to remember, 6'7", 315 pounds. playing again and again after the offense continues to score points after points. Maybe it's a little bit of transition for this defense having to be out on the field so much. And then Trayvon Diggs not being a corner. Well, remember, I believe he was recruited to Alabama as a wide receiver, and then they made the switch to put him as a defensive back. Now, Trayvon Diggs last year lost his starting position to Levi Wallace, and this year Patrick Surtain took the starting spot from Savion Smith. So maybe Savion can get fight with Trayvon Diggs for that other spot for corner. I'm not sure. Let me open up the lines. My apologies. If you're calling, just call in again. The number is 205-686-3604. And I want to get your thoughts. I mean, our last caller brought up a couple good points. I mean, but Trayvon Diggs, there's been a couple times he's made some good plays. I don't know if he's really a natural corner. And plus, playing corner at the college level is the toughest position to play, right? So these are your corners that you have to work with right now. You have Savion Smith, who lost his starting spot to Patrick Surtain, and then you have Trayvon Diggs, who was eaten up last game by Arkansas. Arkansas clearly wanted to go after Diggs. All right. Good evening. Can you please turn on your speakers, please, before we get going? Yeah. Thank you. If you could just turn down the speakers in the background, that's great. All right. I think that's good. All right. Well, good evening. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Demetrius McCullough, calling from Columbus, Georgia.
All right. Good evening. How's your Sunday going?
It's going good.
All right, man. You're on the line. Go ahead, shoot.
Yeah, I had a question just like the last caller was talking about positions, guys being out of position. Mm-hmm. And I picked up that a long time ago, especially early in the season, but you just can't switch in the middle of the season because you already have to get trained, when you go to one-on-ones and stuff like that. When you're doing the breakdown, there's so much different assignments for each position. And after Dennis got back off his injury, you can see he picked up a little more weight. So his size now is indicative of him working inside position, but it's just that he don't have the training for it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Dylan Moses worked. Last year they had him when he came in and started out. We had all those losses. Mm-hmm. He did play outside. He was very effective at playing outside.
Yeah.
And I really wish Ben Davis get his act together because he's very elusive. I think it just when it comes down to his ability to understand the rules and work within the rules, because you can have all the athleticism in the world if you don't understand playbook.
Yeah, it's been the curious case of Ben Davis ever since I've even showed up in Tuscaloosa. It's like I get so many questions. What's up with Ben Davis? He's a 5-star. Why hasn't he seen the field? And honestly, I mean, he's out there. I see him at every single practice. I don't know if he can't learn the terminology. I don't know if it's a talent thing. I really couldn't tell you, and I'm interested to see, if at some point we're going to see Ben Davis play, but it doesn't look like we're going to see him play this year. In fact, we'll probably see Jalen Moody get more reps than Ben Davis.
That's true. And also, my last thing is during the game, I worked Saturday, but I did catch the game on YouTube. And on their running attack, we look pretty effective. It's when you guys talk about how fast the offense is scoring too fast. And they don't give your defense time enough to rest. About time those guys play, you don't have a good 2 group and a 3 group. So if you're not getting the rest, you back out there, you do get worn down. So you don't have a pretty good rotation. And that's one of the problems I'm seeing right now. You just the offense just too goddamn good right now. You're scoring less than 2 minutes. Who can get a rest after that if you don't? You got to go in the trenches and fight another 300-pounder, push for push, So, we got the good of both evils.
Yeah, I know. It's these problems for Alabama, right? They're scoring on the first play, and it's like people are these are Alabama fans' problems. It's gonna be it's something to talk about though, because the defense, they cannot allow 31 points. They cannot, I mean, I know Alabama can score anytime they want, but you don't want to get in this rhythmic pattern of trading points. I mean, that doesn't fly, especially here at Alabama. But I appreciate the call. Thanks for calling in tonight.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, line is open to call in 205-686-3604. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, these problems. I mean, it's not like you can stop Irv Smith from running down the field 76 yards, right, to score a touchdown. All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Insider. You're on the line. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Antonio from Huntsville.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing today?
Great. I was watching the game, and I noticed, everybody talking about the defense, on the line. But what I noticed is, not just this game, but the past game, but other games where quarterback can move a little bit. Story, he can move a little bit, but he made some plays on his feet. When I was wondering, our D-line to consistently get out of their run lanes, you know what I'm saying? It showed against A&M, the QB draws and all that. It's I see a future problem with having, might be in the playoff, might be against Georgia, I don't know. But I see, our D-line just get out of place, and I see quarterbacks, I see it, man. I can see, quarterbacks making plays on their feet, third down, the problems we've been having in the past. I can see it kind of come up because we don't have that athletic defensive end, you know what I'm saying? Isaiah Buggs, he more of a, to me, he seems like a kind of like a tree trunk out there. Him and Raekwon Davis, and I just don't see that athletic pass rush we've been having, So I was wondering, maybe we see a number 9 future, kind of get some athleticism on that defensive line / pass rush, because I really don't see too much going on with that. Maybe sometimes it is, but I know Quentin Williams, he's out there, but man, I just, when he's not on the field, when he when he left the field one time, I just man, we all out our run lanes and quarterback, man. I just see the QB mobility problems come back up with this D-line mainly. What you think about that?
Yeah, I think you bring up some great points, man. I mean, obviously, Raekwon Davis and Isaiah Buggs are built to stop the run. But when you face a dual-threat quarterback, those guys are going to have trouble, especially look at the other outside linebackers. You have Anthony Jennings, who's at 260, who's going to have a tough time chasing down anybody. And then on the other side, you have Christian Miller. A lot of people have even questioned his play this year, although he does have 4.5 sacks. Isaiah Buggs does lead the team with sacks, but I would like to see maybe LeBron Ray, who looks more athletic, and as you said, Iyabi Anoma, who's a 5-star. He hasn't graded out that well, but we haven't seen a lot of Iyabi Anoma just yet. I really, really like everything about Iyabi Anoma, and I think he's going to be a star here at Alabama. But you might have to try to get some of these more athletic players on the defensive side on the field to cut down those running lanes. And as we look at the schedule for Alabama, who are the next quarterbacks that can potentially pose those type of threats? Are we going to see another athletic quarterback like Texas A&M's Kellen Mond? There might be a couple down the road. Drew Lock certainly isn't one of those guys. So I don't know. That is a good question. I'm glad you brought that up. But some of those running lanes have been wide open. And, last week, we saw Arkansas have a 100-yard rush on Alabama, which seems rare. And a couple weeks ago before that, Kellen Mond was running all over the field against the Crimson Tide. But I appreciate the call in from Huntsville. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate it. No, good calling. I mean, about those running lanes. I mean, Kellen Mond was something else. I just got an update on Yahoo Sports. Let me see. I think it was the line is open, by the way, if you want to call. 205-686-3604. All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. You're on the line. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Yo, what's up, Kyle? It's Dwayne from Hawaii.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing tonight, Dwayne?
All right, all right.
I guess I shouldn't say shouldn't say good night. What time is it in Hawaii right now?
It's only 4:15.
Oh, it's only 4:15. I mean, you got the whole evening. We do the show. We do the show late for you guys. So what's up, man? How's you're on the line. Go ahead, shoot. What are you thinking?
Yeah, we really need to get our defense down because maybe like not during our during the season, but when we get to the playoffs and the nationals, if our defense isn't ready, we're that's going to be the cause of if we're to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Because man, our defense is it's crazy. At 31 points.
Yeah, but I'm asking, is it because of the offense? Because they're scoring so many points. Do you see what I'm saying? Like the quick stride offense it's like a double-edged sword almost.
Yeah, I mean, I see that point, but because Alabama knows that our offense, our defense coaches and stuff like that, they know how potent our offense is.
Mm-hmm.
So they just, it's just, maybe mental or something, but, they just got to be able to handle. This is what Alabama is, and now that we got Tua and now that the offense is just off the hook, it's, they just everything's got to step up more. The second stringers got to step up. We got to, because I'm telling you, it's going to be a problem. If our defense ain't ready, it's going to be a problem come playoffs and national.
Is it surprising to you that Tua only has to, 2 weeks ago, he only had to throw 8 passes. This past Saturday, he only had to throw 13 passes. Is that surprising to you?
Yeah, it's
crazy, right?
Crazy. It's like playing fucking. It's like playing Blitz.
Yeah, It's like PlayStation, right? I mean, you just you lock and load, and every single time he throws, I think I have the stat somewhere. It's like 23% of his passes are touchdowns. That's almost 1 in 4. That's crazy.
That's crazy, and I think he's pretty much locked for the Heisman. Unless I don't see him. I can't see him not taking the Heisman this year unless he gets hurt. That's the only thing that can stop him, I think.
Speaking of getting hurt, did you guys notice that Tua came out in the second half and was wearing a knee brace on his right leg?
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed him a little limp too.
Yeah, I noticed him with a limp too, and I don't know. We saw him. He missed a spring game with the finger injury. And then he went down on that first touchdown against Louisville. There was another time where I think he had cramps. And then Saban didn't comment and wasn't asked about Tua wearing that leg brace. I don't know if it's just a precautionary measure. I don't know if it's something nagging. But if you watch some of that footage of Tua walking back to the locker room after the game, he certainly has a limp to him.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I saw that. So
I don't like that.
Yeah, exactly. I hope it's just something small or, shoot.
What'd you think about Alabama busting out Jalen at the slot position?
Oh, I thought that was good, man. Utilize them. Not only use them as back, get them in there. Get them doing other things.
Yeah, Jalen is such an. He could be such a weapon because he's so fast, especially at that slot position. Even the players, Jerry Jeudy and Quinnen Williams, said that Arkansas was really surprised to see Hurts at the slot. But with that said, I think you got to keep Hurts. You can't put both of your quarterbacks out there and risk both of them potentially getting injured. That would just be a travesty. Mac Jones certainly coming up, but him leading Alabama squad, I think that's a little bit of a stretch. But I appreciate you calling in tonight. Thank you so much calling again. We appreciate the support from Hawaii.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, mate. Take it easy. Number to call in, 205-686-3604. Just got let's see. Just got this story up from Yahoo Sports. Let me see if I can bring it to you. All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. Who I'm on the line with and where are you calling from?
Hey man, this is Jared from Buffalo, New York. Man, I just gotta say this, man. I'm freezing down over here, Kyle. I'm freezing.
Man, send some of that down here. It's like the summertime won't end down here, and I'm not complaining. I'm more about the heat than the cold. But come on, it's like 89
it's
every
38
day.
degrees down over here, Kyle. It's freezing.
So what you got?
The fall just started. It's freezing, man.
So what you got, man? I appreciate the call from New York, by the way.
All right, just want to talk about our defense. I talked about this, and I debated this with my friends and family about this. And I said I wouldn't be shocked if Alabama's defense, they're not going to be the number 1 ranked or number 2 ranked, but possibly be like the 25th, maybe 14th, maybe 15th, maybe a type of Big 12 style. I think we're Oklahoma with a better defense, and that's okay because we don't have the depth on our defensive line. Our offense is too explosive. So that's going to make our players tired. I do think that is another factor. We don't have the linebacking depth. We don't have the secondary depth. So mainly the guys that we see, those are going to be the guys. We don't have the depth like we used to have. This is not 2015 or 2016 where we can just keep reloading talent. Or even last year, remember, Mac Wilson was the 3rd linebacker. Dylan Moses was like the 4th linebacker. Mm-hmm. And we don't have that. We don't have that type of depth like we did in the previous type of years. So, yes, do we got to see improvement? Yeah. We can't let Arkansas score 31 points on us. But I wouldn't be shocked at all if we start to see those type of scores. If we do start to see like maybe 20 points, let's say from a Missouri, or if we see like 20 or 20 or 30 points, if we do get into those type of games. The thing that and I know Alabama fans, they don't like to admit it, the offense is going to carry the defense this year. The offense is our strength, and that's okay because next year, look at with recruiting, this is probably going to be one of the best recruiting classes as far as getting defensive players we might have ever had. So this year, I think it's going to be a lumpy year for the defense, but the positive is that we have a lot of experience. We're going to get a lot of experience next year, especially with the secondaries, especially with the linebackers. Defensive linemen, I mean, who knows? Because, we don't know, because half those players could declare for the NFL draft and they can end up being first-round picks for all we know. But as far as, trying to get as much experience as we can with that side of the ball, I feel like we will be fine. I feel like there's no need to panic. If we play against Georgia, or if we play against some of these other teams, how are they going to counter offense? Because it's literally almost impossible to try to play man-to-man coverage, to even try to play zone coverage against our 5-star receivers and tight ends, and we have the best quarterback in the country. I'm not that worried about it. So, that's pretty much all I have to say about that, Carl.
Let me ask you this before I let you go.
Yeah, man.
Can you imagine if Terrell Lewis somehow gets back from his ACL and he comes back to this team? Yeah. I mean, I'd take a 80% Terrell Lewis, right, on the field. We saw him come back last year. He's going to come back. We all know that.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to come back.
That's depth. That's depth right there, and that's what we're missing.
Yeah.
When we're scoring, when we're averaging like a minute or like 2 minutes on offense, and we're not giving our defensive players any breathers, that's what's going to happen. And of course, when we put our second and third string players in the football game, 31 points, 27 points. The fact that I think we had 3 games this year where we gave up over 170 yards rushing, where we gave up 200 yards of rushing against the Raging Cajuns. That's what's going to happen. We don't have the depth like we used to in the past. I mean, if you go back to 2013 or 2014, around those couple of years where we had some rough patches with our defense, the same thing happened with them. We didn't have the necessary depth, and I should say not the talent-wise, but pretty much the experience. We just did not have the experience. But then guess what happened in 2015 where it all came together? We had that depth. We had that experience. It all came together. And from 2015 to 2016, you can make an argument those are probably one of our best defenses maybe of all time because we had that experience. We don't have that this year. And Terrell Lewis, Christopher Allen, those guys being gone, those are huge blows. So we're getting Terrell Lewis back. Hopefully, maybe around the play. If we do make it to the playoffs, maybe we can get him around that time. But until we get that depth next year, we might be stuck with having a type of defense, that type of Big 12 type of style, where we do have a defense that I think is going to be a lot better than Oklahoma's defense from last year or from this year. So I think we'll be fine. I'm not really stressing too much about it. It's just something that the Alabama fans are just going to have to get used to. But the plus side is we probably got the best offense in the country.
No doubt, man. I appreciate the call from New York, man. Call again next time. You brought good stuff, man. I appreciate the call.
All right, man. Have a good night.
All right, you too, buddy. All right, number to call in, 205-686-3604. Coming to you from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. This just in from Yahoo Sports. You can read more from Pat Ford, but Tua clearly leading the Heisman race. And give you just a quick little sample of this article. It's on Yahoo Sports, just dropped by Pat Forty. There isn't much point in discussing the Heisman Trophy in September, but now that it's October and many teams have reached the halfway point of the regular season, and we've got a clear-cut favorite. He says leader. I say favorite. So let's take a look at the race as it stands today. The guy that everyone else is chasing is Tua Tagovailoa of Alabama. How good has he been in the first half of the season? Historically good. He's on pace to shatter Baker Mayfield's NCAA record for single-season pass efficiency. The record is 198.92 set last year, and at this point in the season, Mayfield had a rating of 201.12. Tua's rating currently, seriously, 258.40. Here are the midseason efficiency ratings for some of the other quarterbacks who would win the Heisman, that title. Mayfield, 2016, was 178.35. Marcus Mariota, 2014, 199.14. Jameis Winston, 2013, 194.36. Russell Wilson, 2011, was 210.93. Tua hasn't had a single game efficiency rating lower than 223. That's crazy, which is preposterous. Last 2 games, his efficiency rating was 316.90 and 394.27 against Arkansas. You can read more from Pat Forty on Yahoo Sports. Just crazy numbers that Tua's putting up. Call-in line is open. Give me a call. Want to get your thoughts on this squad. It's your show. Line is open, 205-686-3604. As long as you keep calling in, I'll keep fielding the calls. When the calls stop, then I'm out, and we'll catch you Monday. Tomorrow, Nick Saban has his press conference at 12 p.m. We'll have that right here on our Bama Insider YouTube channel. Of course, more coverage on BamaInsider.com throughout the week and today. I mean, we bring the heat at BamaInsider.com. Tony provides the team coverage. I wear multiple hats, including leading this show. Andrew Bone, our recruiting analyst, bringing the heat recruiting-wise. We got another call coming in. All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling from?
This is Mike. I'm calling from Springville.
I appreciate the call. How was your Sunday today?
It's pretty good, man. I'm pretty excited about the Tide this year. Looking at Tua and the offense, it's something I've never seen in watching almost 40 years of football anywhere. Comparing it to even some of the best offenses historically, I've never seen anything like this.
So
pretty amazing.
Is there? I guess I'll ask you a question before. Maybe you have a question for me, but is there any glaring weakness? I mean, we're talking about the defense, but it might not be a problem as big as we're making it.
Well, to me, what I saw from the defense this weekend, really, I saw a lot of guys out of position. I saw a lot of correctable mistakes. I'm not quite in agreement with your last caller that says that this is a Big 12 team. I don't think that the Big 12's ever had a defense like this. I saw a lot of coachable mistakes, players out of position. I think Diggs is probably getting a harder time than, what I saw from Diggs is still, I like him. He's close to the ball. He may be off a step. He may have gotten beat a few plays, but I think that may not be all on him so much as some of his other players around him. So I think maybe Diggs is getting a little bit of a rough shot, and I think he probably needed a lot of help that he didn't get on some of those plays. But being I was a defensive guy. I played defense for just high school, but defense is what I like. But I just saw a lot of coaching mistakes. And two, I saw an extremely proficient quarterback and a really good job by Arkansas to get rid of the ball quickly. And whenever Alabama's played a quarterback that gets rid of the ball quickly, we've always struggled. And that's just an efficient offense when you can step back and get rid of the ball. And Arkansas did an extremely excellent job of getting rid of the ball quickly, which affected our defense more than, and being out of position, a lot of movement and shifting and inexperience. I think Alabama probably learned more from this game than going forward than they have in any other game they've played, save maybe Texas A&M, because they've actually got a challenge. So I think we're going to see Alabama grow up a lot from this game.
No, I think you're right. And one thing that I do want to point out while we're talking about the defense on the show primarily, I've really been impressed with the play of Xavier McKinney and Deontay Thompson back there as a safeties. Deontay Thompson, I know he didn't grade out this last game that well, but he's playing lights out. I mean, he's got NFL written all over him. Been pleasantly surprised with Xavier McKinney. Nobody hits harder on Alabama's team than Deontay Thompson. There was a couple plays this last game. He just, when he hits you, he brings everything with him.
Well, I agree. I think Alabama's definitely got the talent on defense. Particularly that's coachable to still be one of the best defenses. I mean, you look at Georgia and what they've done with their quarterback they've brought in Fields is directly to compensate, attack Alabama. Whereas Fromm is not a runner, Fields is. So Georgia's going to be prepared. Everybody in the country knows they've got to go through Alabama to get there. To me, Georgia looks like they're the only ones prepared to do that. Haskins, he's got an arm, but he didn't have that. I don't know if he's got the accuracy of the offensive line to give him the time to do it against our defense. Georgia really probably is the only team in the country that can, and with the motivation to do it. I see Georgia as being our defense's greatest threat because they've got the athlete to run the ball. They've got a quarterback that can run the ball, and they've got a quarterback that can throw the ball. Teams that, growing up like we did against Arkansas, is going to help us prepare for a team like Georgia because, they're really looking down the line. I mean, we're going to face good defenses, but, a team that can score more than 31 is somebody like Georgia that can, if Fromm's having a bad night, you put somebody like Fields in, and then, you change it from, any type of attack you want. Georgia, looking at our defense, Georgia's the standard to bear as far as what attacks are out there that can defeat you, slow you down enough to, because Georgia's got the athletes on defense that can slow us down too. Clemson, maybe Ohio State if they're fully healthy, but I still, that being said, too, it's just amazing his efficiency. It's gonna. As far as what I see, our glaring weakness is obviously our kicking game. I mean, there's nothing that I can't see that grades out poorer than our kicking game, whether it be punting or, our kickoffs are strong, but the rules really don't lend kickoff to having an impact like it used to. So punting and kicking, field goals are the obvious thing that could cost us in a game against Georgia or Ohio State or Clemson, or maybe even coming on lately, Notre Dame.
Well, I appreciate the call tonight. Thank you so much for calling in. You bring up some really good points.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, good points. I mean, when I think you look at the top 5 teams that could potentially challenge Alabama moving forward, I'm gonna write off Clemson right away. I just don't think that Clemson. I know they've looked good. I'm just not sold on this year's Clemson team. Have a lot of respect for Trevor Lawrence, what he's doing as a freshman, but the teams that I think are concerning for Alabama fans looking forward to Ohio State. They grade out very well, grade out very similar to Alabama. They got a very dangerous quarterback, good run game. Defensive line is stout. I don't know if I believe so much in Notre Dame right now. I have to see more of them. I think another team, I agree, Lil Joe, about Clemson. And I think Georgia, but I don't know if I'm completely sold on I'm not hating on Jake Fromm. I just don't think that he's playing right now at the level as some of these higher tier quarterbacks. I mean, when you look at the numbers, Jake Fromm just hasn't produced at these higher levels that some of the top tier quarterbacks have. I mean, could we potentially see another second half run by Oklahoma? I don't know, maybe. By the way, they just let go of their defensive coordinator. You can read more on that. Can't let them score 1 million points on you, right? Oklahoma has had that suspect defense for way too long right now, and it cost them last year, cost them this last week. And the line is still open. I'll take a couple more calls before I head to bed. 205-686-3604 is the number to call in. Monday, Nick Saban press conference. Wednesday, he'll have another press conference. That'll be his last press conference before Missouri. Kickoff against Missouri is for 6 o'clock on ESPN. All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson, Bama Insider. You're on the line. Where are you calling from, and who am I on the line with?
Hey, how's it going, Kyle? It's Chris from Hawaii.
Hey, what's
Love
up,
what
Chris?
you're doing, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for calling in. Well, another caller from Hawaii sent me these lei, and really grateful for him. I mean, also sent me some chocolate, the macadamia nuts, which were unbelievable. But you're on the line, man. So what's up? What you got?
Yeah, just a couple quick points on Tua and his Heisman candidacy.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna win it hands down. Aside from the stats, something he has and none of the other guys have is no turnovers.
Yeah.
Secondly, is humility.
Oh.
Some of these other guys, I don't know if you saw the interview with Maria Taylor and Kyler Murray before his game, but she asked him, how would you rate yourself compared to the other high school Texas quarterbacks?
Yeah.
And he said, hands down on the best.
Wow.
When it comes to Tua, it's always about the team, right?
Definitely.
Right after the national championship game, I want to thank my linemen, my receivers, and Coach Saban for giving me the opportunity. So that's going to go a long way.
No, I think you're right. I mean, we had an opportunity to speak to him. I mean, we've spoken to him before, but they brought him out to talk to the media, and just how well Tua is grounded within his faith, family, team. Really speaks volumes to his parents. I think they've done a fantastic job with Tua. Really carries himself well. Really appreciate how humble he is. 18 touchdowns on the season, 0 interceptions, just like you said. He's balling out. I mean, his rating and efficiency is incredible, something that the college football world has never seen yet. Yeah, we're only going into week 7, but it is what it is. I mean, we see it every single Saturday. This is something very special that's happening in Tuscaloosa, and Alabama fans they must be just so elated to have somebody not only of that caliber on the field, but that caliber of a person leading their program.
Amen. And I would have to say that a lot of people are, a little worried about him not playing in the fourth quarter, but I think Nick Saban has a method to his madness.
Oh yeah.
Alongside the accolades of the national championship trophies, Heisman Trophy is not going to hurt the program. So I take it as Jalen getting the ball, getting a different look this last game is setting up for the future for Tua. Now that Nick Saban has played this quarterback controversy to a T, Jalen's locked in. Hey, let's give him some different looks. Let's get him in the game early because Tua hasn't practiced game time until the fourth quarter, and that's something we're going to have to do going forward. You see, because he did an Ole Miss and he started getting cramped. So that's something Saban, he always speaks about repetition. I think Saban's setting something up so Tua can play more into the third and fourth going forward.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And as we always say on the show, Nick Saban's playing chess while everybody else, including ourselves, is playing checkers, right? Hey, Chris, I appreciate the call, man. I'll call in next time. We really appreciate all the support from Hawaii.
Yeah, you have a good one.
All right, you too. Hey, you guys still want to call? I'll take your calls. 205-686-3604. As I mentioned, scheduled for this coming week, Nick Saban on Monday at 12 p.m. We'll have that presser right here on our YouTube channel. If you're curious to be a subscriber of BamaInsider.com, get more premium content, visit BamaInsider.com. Look for the free 30-day trial. You can always email me at Kyle@BamaInsider.com. It's been a great show. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Want to deliver a good product for you. So I always appreciate the calls and the feedback. All right, good evening. It's Kyle Henderson. You're on the line. Who I'm on the line with, and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Mike from Kentucky.
Hey, Mike. It's always good to hear from you. I appreciate the call. You always have good insight. You're on the line. Go ahead, shoot.
Yeah, I get it that, people are a little bit concerned about the defense. It's definitely not what we've grown accustomed to watching, as Alabama fans. We're used to a suffocating defense, but let's not forget, we lost 6 guys to the NFL last year. That's a lot for anybody. And we got an offense that can score 21 points in 10 minutes, so Nick Saban doesn't seem to be crazily concerned about it. So I'm just going to roll with it and see what happens, man. I don't think there's any reason to panic.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right. Just like Nick Saban said at halftime, it doesn't matter if you're scoring by passing or rushing. It matters on the scoreboard. And a lot of how Nick Saban coaches his team is he's always coaching his team against his own team. They're never really focused on the opponent. They're always focused on themselves and how they play. And they have a method, of what to do with this team and how explosive this offense is. I think coming into this season, I think we all knew that Alabama's offense would be explosive. I never dreamed it'd be this explosive. And to think it could even be more explosive next year when all these guys are juniors is just scary to even think about. But right now, I like them. I like them big against Missouri. I don't think that there's anybody that thinks that Missouri is going to battle with these guys, especially here in Tuscaloosa for homecoming weekend. Have a lot of respect for Drew Lock, but I think that secondary is going to be pretty fired up. Anything else while you're on the show?
Well, I totally agree with one of your earlier callers who said it's a bad week to come to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
After giving up 31 points, they're going to be angry. I think that guy was totally right on that point. So I'm not concerned one bit. So let me get off so somebody else can get through, all right? Well, dead-gum tired.
Yeah, thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it. All right, take a couple more calls, 205-686-3604. And it's been a good show. Like I said, if you have any feedback, how we can make the show better, I'll take the positive criticism, and I appreciate you guys calling in from all over, whether from New York or from Hawaii, doesn't matter. Right here in Tuscaloosa, I'll take your call, want to talk with you. Don't be afraid to call in. It's your show. What I talk about, I like talking about football, especially Alabama football. I'm really grateful to be here in Tuscaloosa taking your calls. Never dreamed that I'd even have a call-in show. Kind of just happened, and I hope that we're delivering a good product for you. 205-686-3604. As we always do towards the end of our show, we'd like to thank our United States military, past or present. We certainly appreciate what you do for this great country. And so thank you very much. There's no better honor than serving our country. And we certainly appreciate what you do for our great country here at BamaInsider.com. If there's no other calls, I'll head out. But thank you so much. It's been a great show. I think we covered a lot. We try to dissect the defense. Now we'll leave it up to the coaches and the experts to do it Monday through Friday as Alabama prepares for Missouri, 29.5-point favorite against the Tigers, coming in with Drew Lock, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. For myself, Kyle Henderson of BamaInsider.com, this is the BamaInsider.com live stream on YouTube. We got something special planned for you Tuesday night for all you recruiting fans. Going to have Andrew Bone on the show taking your calls so we can talk Alabama recruiting. And we're going to have Andrew Bone, the best in the business, do it right here on your show. Same call-in number, 205-686-3604. So get your recruiting questions ready because Andrew Bone is about to take your calls on Tuesday night, probably around 8:30 p.m. I'll make an announcement. So thank you so much. Signing off from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Be good people, everybody. We'll talk soon. See you later.